Hello, everyone. Welcome. It is, what is it, January 29th, 2024. It is 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is the 13th episode of the DOVECOTE, a TTRPG news and discussion show with my guest this week, Wendy Ribston. Say hi, Wendy.
Hi,
Uh, uh,
tis I.
tell folks a bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I am Wendy Ribston of Pippin, aka Curatrix Ribston. I am a TTRPG designer and artist and writer, and I am also a translator from English to French, my mother tongue. Let's see. I am delighted to be here, of course, with my good friend. And yeah, I think that about covers it. Yeah, that's me.
Hell yeah. I don't know why that sub alert didn't. Oh, because it's just a. I see. Sorry, I forgot how things work. But yeah. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm really glad to have you. Something's fucked up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can't see anything in the I can't see anything in the
Yeah,
chat managers.
I'm noticing that.
I cannot receive all of the love from your gentle followers.
Yeah. Cave Girl Game says yo yo. What up in the hood? um, Juice
Hey,
Cthulhu
that's
says awa wa wa. Okay. Let me see if I can go to
we got
Streamlabs and
a
get my chat box.
we got a gangsta. We got a gangsta from the caves who rolled up.
From yeah. Okay.
My lovely girlfriend, cave girl.
Yeah. Uh yeah, this will be an issue,
Hmm.
so I'll try and fix this really quickly. Um if I had to guess, just a link is probably outdated. Um so sorry about this,
Perhaps.
everyone. This is not the most
Maybe.
I don't like it when this happens. Let me chat box.
It happens. It happens. Tech is hard.
Yeah.
Tech is complicated, and you are a one-woman show here, like running it. Like I'm just here to be praised by you and receive love from your followers, but you are running this. It's kind of impressive, really.
Well,
So,
thank you.
be kinder to yourself. You don't have a producer.
Yeah. Um
Um, all this cute art going on. You even did this like animated avatar thingamajig for me, which
Thank you.
is delightful.
Oh god, I'm being told to
You
stretch.
know,
I'll stretch later. Also, hi, Hjorten, Idre. I will say, like, uh, I mean, I would avoid uh speaking in French in chat just because I cannot moderate it. Because I do not speak French. And I don't
oh,
want to
hang
put
on.
that
I'm gonna
responsibility on
open the stream
Wendy's
now
part.
just so I can see what people are saying in French.
No one's speaking in
Let's
French. It's
see.
just someone
Oh,
saying
you're
like they
you're
might.
preempting it.
Yeah. Okay, this new chat, this just the old. Well, I gotta take the old chat box out behind the barn and you know, listen, it has to be done.
Yeah, take her out like old Yeller.
Yeah,
Okay, the chat is in the middle of the screen now.
yeah, we're working on it.
There we go.
I think I can increase the height to give it more.
Okay,
Yeah, I
I
think I need
need
to
to
mess with the
make
height
this
and width really
clear so
quick.
that I can see it
This is awesome because
clearly.
like this is good. This is good stuff to have happen at the beginning of a stream.
Yeah, it's excellent stuff to be getting at the beginning of the stream. In fact,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
I would love this. That's about the full box. Let me just shrink it or thin it now. Maybe 600. I also like can't live update the height and width. Beautiful. Isabella must disappear. Well, thank you for the sub, the prime sub. Appreciate it. Um, yeah, people's usernames are gonna get shortened. I'm not actually sure how to. I guess I could go in and make that better. Uh, this is fine for now. I'll go and fuck with it another time.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is fine.
you're good. This
Um,
will work.
yeah. But yeah, let's let's get into it now that we've been thoroughly disrupted by the just the wastes of technology, the slow deterioration of all things.
The
Uh,
enshittification of everything, etc.
yeah. Wendy, tell. I mean, I know about you, but I mean, like, I guess. Well, I mean, you already talked about yourself. Also, let me put. I'm a bit disorganized because of the mess. But here we go. People should follow Wendy's Itch. It's really good. Um, I would love
Yeah,
to
follow
hear.
my itch.
Yeah, I would love to hear about any projects that you're working on that you want folks to know about, and any stuff that you think is like cool that you're working on.
Well, right now, the big one that I'm working on is Rust and Raiders. Rust and Raiders is a tabletop game that I've been fucking with for a while. Like years ago, I posted like a quiz start, and it started kind of as a hack of Mouse Raider, kind of. For and if anyone who doesn't know what that is a an old school game about being cute little mice going on adventures and like going in dungeons and stuff. Very cute, very good game. Um, and I sort of like kind of like it with time, it has kind of like reverse engineered itself into being me like refinding what is like what we now would call like a traditional game, you know, like the stuff like the heartbreakers and stuff like that, where it's the more I, I would say the more gamey side of TTRPGs, where what I want is to have a game that is fun by itself with the premise of like rolling dice and using the rolls to make stuff happen. um, which doesn't mean that like I'm neglecting the story side, the relationship side, the all of this of that good theater kid stuff. It's also that I want to like I want you to play with the origins of the wargamey roots of that side of TTRPG. In a world that is also like my kind of full of the things that I like, post-apocalypse, floating islands in the sky, dragons that are mutated and fucked up and sad, um, mutant powers, guns, so many guns, um, and trees that want to eat you, that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to play Rust and Raiders, and I think it's really great. And I've also really enjoyed, like as you said, watching you kind of shift from a like I think like mostly or solely war game focused to like something that's a bit more balanced. I think like some of the more like humanistic elements, like touches that you've added, have been really exciting.
I've I've always been very interested in general, like the way that um so in TTRPGs there's a lot of these like conventions that like you will hear people say, oh yeah, but a good GM does this, a good GM does that, a good GM like makes you say campfire stories, a good GM make you do X and X and Y and Z. And I'm always like puzzled. I've always been puzzled by this. I've always been like extremely like intrigued by the fact that like there is this sort of like oral tradition of TTRPGs that are completely like separate from the actual games that have been actually written.
Yeah,
And I've always been interested in like, okay, but like if this is good, if this is something that is making things like better, why is it not in the game? Like, and how can we integrate this in a way that feels like it matters? Um like how do we make this matter to the game, to this sort of to the social contract sort of that we've written together around this table, this thing where we've agreed that we are like we are making a world, and we're making that world exist through these rules. And like, if we want elements of the story to matter, we have to, like, put it through the sort of the kiln of the game, I guess, like bake it into it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that
And
does
yeah,
make
so
sense.
I've been really interested in like tying all of this together, but also make it matter to the core of the game, which is like exploring places, surviving, and getting into fights.
Yeah.
Um, and how everything about that, like around the fights, um, ties into it. That's why, for example, one big things about Rust and Raiders that I'm working on in this current build, which is that I have decided to make fighting, like fights, to make them into instances. Like
Mhm.
when you fight, you sort of like you kind of push aside, like you suspend your disbelief just a bit to set up a battle board. There's not just like your immediate area. Like it's a battle board that has like specific stuff on it, and you place some terrain and stuff. And most importantly, each side picks an objective that they want to do. And depending on what objective you pick, you will get like different um, things out of the combat, because no one, like virtually no one in Rust and Raiders is interested in fighting to the bitter end.
Yeah.
Uh, because most people are just trying to survive. Beasts are trying to eat you, but beasts are not stupid. Beasts are people. And like beasts, what they're going to try and do is like, when they fight, they are going to try and down as many of your numbers as possible, but mostly so that like you can't stop them when they drag a few of y'all to eat in their lair. They are not going to
Yeah.
fight to their end. They like no one is going to do that, and that has two effects on the game that I think is really interesting. It like when I've been able to play test it so far, it requires some fine tuning, of course, but so far, the effects that it has had is that it has made combat shorter, of course, but it has not made it feel less significant. I feel
Yeah.
like there's this thing, because there's this thing in like a lot of games where you end up playing like what we call rocket tag. Don't know if you've heard that. I really like this
I don't know.
expression.
I don't know if I have.
So it's rocket tag. Have you tried playing tag with a rocket launcher?
Right.
Um, And like rocket tag is kind of like decided on who gets to shoot who first. And like these combats tend to last a few rounds, and that does not take away from how much skill you have to put into them. But I do always kind of feel like let down by them on some level in some places, where it feels like, because it doesn't lend itself to more strategic plays like debuffs and
Right.
proper positioning. Where here, adding objectives, making players care about like being in certain places because it makes the game happy, makes for combat that feels both much more involved and much more tied to the narrative stakes that you have in place. I have rented.
It's okay. Yeah, I wanted to go back to something that you said earlier about this idea that like there is this like play culture like around or I guess was this play culture around like classic D&D, like these sort of established things that are not reflected by the books that people think they're reflected by. Because
Mhm, mhm,
a couple months ago, me and Lilith for our episode read Marcia B's like oral history of the OSR. And I think a really interesting thing that you see is that a lot of like the early like Google Plus OSR folks thought that
mhm.
the things that were just their play culture were actually in these books and then didn't like go back to check. um, and
That's funny.
yeah, I think like I I I guess I do have a question for you. I feel like I probably know the answer to this, but I'll ask anyways just for the audience. Like, uh, a do you consider yourself OSR, and B like what is your relationship to that term?
That's an interesting question. I don't know if I can say that I am OSR because that feels kind of limiting per
Right.
like I make games that are definitely like influenced by the OSR. Definitely. There's that like in my blood as a designer, I guess. Like it's part of what I do. Um but I don't know that I am OSR. I think
Right.
that people who like OSR will like some of my stuff and dislike other stuff. Like, for example, We the Shambling Ones, my game about being a zombie horde trying to survive being a zombie horde um, in a dark fantasy setting that used to be a high fantasy setting. Uh, that's not for like that's not an OSR game. That's
Yeah.
fully some like what in France we call that style narrative vegan
Right.
because it has this like because tying into the image of veganism as kind of like how can I put this, just like a hipster kind of thing,
Yeah.
that's the feeling that this idiom evokes. But yeah, I but my relation to I don't think that I am OSR. My relationship to the OSR, do you mean like as in OSR as a, s- a genre signifier of TTRPGs or like as a crowd?
That's a great question. Like, I think like in asking that, I'm kind of asking you like, I mean, I think that is also an answer to my question. You know what I mean? Like, I think
Oh yeah, yeah.
like
I think
how
I'll
how do you
answer
feel
both
about it? How
though.
do you navigate like that term, that label for work,
Yeah,
for that individuals use sometimes?
yeah. So the thing about the crowd, right? Because
Mhm.
let's get the the elephant out of the room
Right.
first. The thing is about the OSR is that there's a bunch of Nazis in there.
Hmm.
There's a bunch of lovely folks, like my lovely girlfriend who is with us tonight in the chat. Hi, hi Emily, I
Hi.
love you. But like also like there's a bunch of Nazis in there. Actually, I told you about that, but I'm going to tell Chad because there's people who do not know this anecdote here. Where like recently I was checking my messages on
Oh,
Twitter, which I
right.
never do. I don't know why I did this, but I
Yeah.
did. And like I noticed that like I had someone like asking to message me, which did not show up in notifications because they weren't. I was not following them.
Hmm.
And and yeah, Lilith is so right about this. But yeah, the OSR is so much like the black metal scene. Another scene, but that my lovely girlfriend Emily is in. Hi.
There's even
But
some
yeah,
like there's some overlap there. I will say also
there
like
is,
real.
well, yeah, enormous overlap. But yeah, so I open my messages, right? And there's this guy who's like, hey, I have this TTRPG podcast. Would you be interested in an interview?
Hmm.
Blah blah blah, etc. This is my show, and I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, why not? And then I notice, cross in bio,
Yeah.
like Christ in bio, dude defining himself as a Puritan Christian and a husband. How has husband become such a red flag?
I'm a
Like just
husband.
like like you know this guy, and like he's and so we like I'm like, no, let's see let's see what the fuck this guy wants, right? Because like I don't know how can that kind of person just like see just I don't know anything about me, being someone who sometimes refers to herself as a tranny faggot, um like
Yeah.
how
Oh, don't say that word on
how
Twitch. Like,
oh
not
yeah, I
not
will
kidding.
not. No, okay, tree trunk, big, I don't know, uh, but
Right.
yeah, who
Yeah.
refers to herself by slurs sometimes. Like, what does he want with me? Because like my shit, if anyone like clicks this link that you have sent, like there's my Twitter on there, and I am not subtle about who I am.
Yeah.
Front loaded. Also, there's my commission information. Give me a call if you want to know it. But how? Why? And so this guy, like, we start talking, and I'm like, um, and I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. And he's like, yeah, so I have some questions I want to ask you. Normal interview stuff. Like, hey, apparently, like the guy wanted to talk more about the business side of thing, which is very funny to me. But he's like, hey, so yeah, this is your highest priced item on your itch. Why? Like, very like basic bitch questions, TBH.
Right.
Can I say basic bitch?
Yeah, you can say that. Just no
Okay,
slurs.
cool. Okay, cool. Good to know. Um, but yeah, like very basic question. And he's like, yeah, I wanted to try that, but I didn't buy it. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna send you a copy of that game, which is doll.bod, which is, my game about being the slur that I said earlier, about,
Right.
cyberpunk trans girls being, literally selling their bodies to capitalism, uh, as like, cybered up
Monsters.
monsters sent to, do dirty Shadowrun deeds, like this game. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to send him a copy. Because, first of all, here's the thing. If anyone ever asks me for a copy of anything, you can just do that and I will give it to you. Like, I'm pro piracy and I am also not a hypocrite. So, like, if someone wants my game for free, they can literally just ask me. But, so I sent it to him, and since then, crickets.
Yeah.
I have sent him like the game about being weird and horny and cybered up and in pain all the time.
Being domed by your
Um,
GM, basically.
yeah, yeah,
Good.
it's very much a game about being domed by your GM. Yeah,
That's beautiful. I
yeah.
you know
I should maybe I should shoot him another email.
he failed the vibe check.
I think yeah, I think I vibe checked him too
I
hard.
think you sent him that and his head exploded before he even read it. Like
Yeah,
he's just he like confetti and streamers popped out.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. He
Yeah,
got he got domed.
he got
He got
domed.
fucking crowned. He
He
got
got
Wendy'd.
he got Wendy'd.
He got
It's
curated.
it's a game about giving head, and he lost his. Um,
Ooh!
he,
That's a good one.
yeah.
Honestly.
Which Lilith says he's a girl now.
You know what? That would be I mean, that would not be the first egg I've cracked, but
Yeah, that would be a wild egg to crack. Um,
I mean, listen, I revel in the challenge.
yeah. Uh, cool. Are there any games that are out now and that you're playing or reading or looking at that you're interested in and want to share with folks?
Huh, well, actually, yeah, as it happens, I've been playing a whole lot of Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous.
Oh,
Um, which is very interesting because for people who do not know me, I have long been of the mind that Pathfinder is doing D&D on purpose. Like
right.
you are doing the heartbreaker thing, right? And you're trying to do it the most possible in the most logical way. You're trying to have a combat heavy game that's about managing like various status and stuff, various resources, be it your abilities or your spells and stuff like that. And I've been like really engrossed with it. It's
Nice.
it's a it's a pretty fucking good game. First of all, Pathfinder, the original edition, was one of the very first uh, tabletop role playing games I ever played. Um, I have a long history with it. I was in some bad groups of, you know, bad, the TTRPG groups where they're like, well, we don't know why, but girls never stick with us.
Hmm. Hmm.
That vibe of TTRPG guys.
Yeah.
Uh, they were, some of them ended up like I checked on one of these guys, and yeah, he's a fascist now. So
Oh boy.
so I'm not surprised. But yeah, like these were bad people who hurt me a lot, and they bullied me to no end.
I'm
And it's been
sorry.
like really good for me to like exercise that by playing this game and enjoying it on my own terms.
Yeah.
So there's that. Like that's for the personal side of thing. And
Oh
the
yeah.
game designer in me is also like really interested in this game because it's really interesting how a computer game like tackles it.
Mm.
Because one thing about Pathfinder is that when you play it on the tabletop, usually you give NPC class levels, which are easier to manage on a GM than an entire stat block of a fully fleshed out character,
Yeah.
which the computer can just do. The computer can just like have throw at you five NPCs, 10 NPCs, which all have class levels, and some of whom are like have two classes, maybe more. Like it's really interesting how they tackle that. It does, however, mean a significant bump in difficulty, which I think is pretty unfair in some places. Because,
Mm.
like, in the typical TTRPG session, right, you will have one, maybe two fights. If that's like, a longer session and you're like in physic and like you're present physically with your friends and you're
Mm.
like, yeah, we're gonna take a break. You play for the third part of the afternoon and then all through the night. Um, but here, it's like a dungeon. Dungeons are big, and they have a hackathon of combat, and your resources are really, really, really strained in a way that makes me sometimes cheat.
You have a heart
Um,
of gold. Don't let them
and
take
I
it
don't know.
from you.
It's really interesting to see like the also this kind of discrepancy between the tabletop and the computer, which is what I'm here for, honestly. Um, it's really interesting to see um, such a classic game, and to like see it also on such a grand scale. It also has like so many interesting characters. I really want to shout out the succubus character in here, Arushale,
Mm.
uh, whom is so trans. Like, for people who do not mind a bit of spoiler, Arushale is a character that joins you like around the third act of the game, the second and third act of the game, and she is a succubus who really wants to not be a succubus anymore because she does not
Right.
want to hurt people anymore. And if you start being romantic with her, uh, she will reciprocate your feelings, and she feels terrible about it because she was like raised and created in an environment where sexuality was her entire existence, and that sexuality was predatory by design.
Yeah.
She could only know a predatory sexuality, and now she wants to like be a good person, make friends, and live a normal life and be happy. um and then you fucking show up and you gave her feelings, and she doesn't know how to deal with them because the only way she knows how to deal with desire and affection and stuff is through the lens of predation. And that is terrifying and existentially mortifying to her, um,
Yeah.
to the point that if you react to any of that by flirting with her in a sexual way, like she will straight up shut you down and break up with you because like no, this is serious. Like I don't want to be an object, and I do not want to turn people into objects. I want to be normal and I want to be happy, and I need you to respect that, you know?
Yeah. It sounds like
And
they kind of did Astarion before Astarion.
I have not played Baldur's Gate 3. I just know that Astarion has tits.
uh,
Some great man tits on that guy.
pretty good character, like probably the best written character in that game, honestly. Like really good. Um, they they they
Hell yeah.
they do some similar stuff where it's like, you know, Astarion is like concerned about sex, and like there's an option where it's like, oh, but you know, it'll be good with me, and then he'll just fucking break up with you, uh, because like
Yeah.
you're being a piece of shit. Um, there's
Yeah, yeah,
also
yeah.
a scene if you play as Karlach, whose body is like superheated. This is all in Act One, so I'm not spoiling too much. Um, and it's like a very specific situation. If you're playing as Karlach and you're romancing Astarion, um, uh, he'll be like, at first he'll pretend to be like, oh, like I'm so pissed off that we can't have sex because your body is like superheated. Um, but then like he's relieved. Like the reality is that he's relieved because he doesn't have to do this thing again. He doesn't need to put out. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of potential for like exploring sex and sexuality in CRPGs, and well
Yeah.
RPGs obviously, but like I'm
Yeah, of
glad that
course.
CRPGs are doing that recently.
Yeah. One thing that I really like about this is that they did not make her asexual,
Hmm.
which I think, like, it's not that I don't like a good ace rap, not I don't want to seem like I that would be bad, but like the fact that they have like distinctly made her no, I want to have sex, like I just want my sex to be healthy
Yeah.
is is really important. Like it really spoke to me as a trans woman because like our sexuality is under constant scrutiny, and that's another big thing with Arushale, right? Like her affection, her her genuine gentleness and care as a person, um and her sexuality are under constant scrutiny by the entire universe, who are just trying to be like, no, you see, you are just a predator, stop
Yeah.
pretending, you know?
You're a
And I'm
sex
like, yeah,
demon.
yeah, you're a sex demon. And I'm like, yeah, I can relate to like being seen by the universe as a sex demon who just needs to die already, you know? Like
Yeah.
yeah, it's very real. And it's very real but in a way that's very gentle, you know?
Yeah.
She's just a nice character who like people are kind of horrible to her, but it doesn't like the acts of horror against her do not get too real. It's just
Right.
like, you know, it's very deftly handled, I found.
Hell yeah. And are there any games that are on their way? Any games that are coming out that you are excited about?
Well, games that I'm excited about, games that are on their I'm not a very like hype person.
Mm,
I tend to kind of avoid that because I know that because I've been burned in the past. Though I guess if I had to choose, I'd say like hmm yeah, in TTRPGs like there's not much that I'm like excited about that I'm not like actually actively invested
right.
in as like a person. Like I'm excited for Euphoria, which I'm plus testing. I'm excited about Sapphic World,
Which
which I'm
you're
plus testing
working on
and
also.
contributing
You've
to
contributed
and
to.
working on also. I'm excited about Wolfpack and Winter Snow Second Edition that Emily is working on, which I have been
Girlfriend.
proofreading sometimes, and she is my girlfriend also. Um, I am excited about the Electrum Archive second issue going out, which I am currently, which I've helped proofread. I am excited about the Dreamlands zine that I'm making with the rest of my siblings in art at the Good Sleep Collective, which I am not art director, which I'm project manager on. So like these are all things I'm excited about because I'm involved in. Um, but I guess
That's
so.
so
I guess if I'd
healthy.
had, yeah, There is one video game that I'm curious about,
Hmm.
which is Light No Fires.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Which,
yeah. The new Hello Games, right?
yeah, like
Yeah.
it seems to be like a wide open world fantasy world, and I'm interested in that, not because like it seems particularly like original or anything. It's just like I have this friend, right, Guillaume, a
Mhm.
guy I really like, just a solid bro of mine, um, who has been like looking for like games to hang out with friends for a while, and to also like progress together towards something
Yeah.
with friends. Um, like he's been waiting for that for a while and waiting for that to have with me, right? For a while. Um, like with me and the other people we play with. And I'm thinking maybe this could be it. And like maybe that's
Yeah.
a game we could enjoy together, him and I and the other friends we play with. And I don't know, I've been yeah, it's a I'm curious about it. I wouldn't say I'm excited about it because like I would need to also like be able to afford it and to
Right.
have a machine that can run it, which is not a done thing. Like it's not sure. But yeah, it's you know?
Yeah.
Like
I'm excited to
it's
play
yeah,
that as well. That game seems interesting.
yeah. I
Um.
guess I could try Pal World in the meantime. That
Oh yeah.
seems but like it has the problem with Pal World, right, is that it's a craft 'em up, and I'm so uninterested in crafting.
I've
I've
listen.
been
A friend of mine, Jump Drive Project, has said that game is okay. If I can get some money, maybe I'll grab it. But yeah, it's interesting.
yeah, it's I do like the premise, the parody of it, and I
Hmm.
think that you should actually just parody the fuck out of any Nintendo property, whenever you can. That's good, actually. That's based. Oh yeah. Also, did you on the subject? Yes. No. One thing I'm excited about actually, it's to see whatever they end up doing with Bloodborne Card. Have you heard the news about Bloodborne
I
Card?
have, yeah.
Yeah. Like I guess this is a kind of a segue into news, but like yeah, Bloodborne Card gets is getting like it has gotten C and D'd by Sony
Yeah.
allegedly. No, like maybe not like C and D'd, but like they got
They got a letter.
things. Yeah, they got a letter. They got some
Yeah,
words,
so they're
and
they're
they have to.
scraping
Yeah,
it
they have to.
basically.
Yeah, they have to scrape the branding off it, and
Mhm.
I'm excited to see. Uh, I'm excited to see what they do with it. They haven't announced their new release date, which is well the thing that I'm kind of just anxious about. I hope
Yeah.
they get to do it. But Bunliff seems excited about what she's going to do,
Yeah.
so I'm happy for her.
Seems like a lot of work, but you know,
Yeah,
it is what it is.
it
Um
is what it is.
yeah. But yeah, you wanna use that as a segue to get into the news?
Yeah, let's get into the news. Some more of them. Wait, no, wrong show.
Yeah, and we're also not getting right into the news because
Because we're leftists.
yeah, right. Okay. Thank you for saving me from making a really dumb fucking joke. Okay, so uh, this week we have three stories. Um, first one. Okay,
Yeah,
so I'm gonna try and
right.
explain this the best that I can.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
so uh, Janelle Jacques, who I believe I talked about I think it was 2 weeks ago. I talked about Janelle Jacques. Um, or no,
Yeah,
sorry,
rest in power, sister.
I think it was last week. It was during the one Zavad that'll be coming out soon. Uh,
Hmm.
so Janelle Jacques, who was involved in D&D early um, TSR D&D, um, Quake level design and other stuff, who has a whole, well, who should have a whole structure of naming, of making dungeons named after her, passed away recently, passed away this month, and you know, there's this article, the article that we're looking at right now. This article used to be
Yay.
called Decaying the Dungeon without an S. And used to also contain Janelle Jacques, who's a trans woman's dead name. Now, at the time, like, Janelle Jacques hadn't come out yet, but it took a while for the Alexandrian and the titular Alexander to to change that. And then Janelle Jacques was like, "Hey, another thing, you have this as Jacqueing the dungeon, and it should be Jacquesing the dungeon." And he refused to change that. And then a little while before Janelle Jacques' passing, he put out an article that was like, "Hey, I'm changing this to Xandering the dungeon, ostensibly to honor Janelle Jacques' wishes." And so a lot of kind of complex details have come out since then. But the short and simple of it is basically like it reads as Justin Alexander engaging in sleight of hand. There's an article on DIY and Dragons about this. This is probably the best place to look for information on this, although it's a little outdated. This is a good starting point. And yeah, it's really a shame. And then there's some Discord logs wherein there's the sleight of hand here is basically that like Justin Alexander has basically like implied that Janelle Jacques was okay with with swapping the name to Xandering the dungeon from Jacquesing the dungeon, because by way of like saying we all decided that it was okay, and like the we is him and his lair. um, it's it's very tricksy. Just a lot of like wording, like created a
Yeah, that
legal
is
question.
rancid.
It's
That's
just
just rancid.
he just kind of comes off. Janelle's top, so this is Justin Alexander. Janelle's top priority, as expressed to me, was for the article to not say Jacaying. The initial intention was, as noted, to say Jacasing, but our priority was to remove Jacaying by whatever means. Like, I feel like that's just a misunderstanding of like what is the intent behind what this person is saying they want.
Listen. If that is a misunderstanding, like, no, come on, like, no, it's not. If that's a misunderstanding, this guy is the dumbest motherfucker on God's green earth. Like, no, like, it's such like shitty, clearly shitty, like exact wording of, aha, but the priority was not to say Jacasing, it was to not say Jacaying. So you see, as a result, I can call it the me method of dungeoneering, and voila, fuck off.
Yeah.
Eat an entire chode, like.
I will say, I am aware. Okay, it has been discussed in public forums by people who people who I will leave anonymous that he is aware that he fucked up at this point, and he is trying to repair this. And that this is like seems like less malice and more just like being a fucking asshole, basically. But it's still awful.
I stand by the dumbest motherfucker on God's green earth.
Yeah, just a complete fucking rube.
Like, come on, like, dude, you can't I cannot believe that this guy believes what like, oh god damn it.
Dude should have just sat and ate his dinner. Yeah, you're right, Duck. um
it's goddamn
She
it's
said
like,
she
yeah.
wanted B, not A, which means she wanted to C. Yeah, and it's really tone deaf to change it like after she passes. Like
Extremely.
you gotta like hold off, reel it in. Like when she's in a fucking coma, like talk talk to her wife. Like you can't be. This is just like another example of just like complete fucking disrespect for trans women in the TTRPG scene. I think.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like yeah, he's a dumbass, but also like there is like structural malice here of just like people
Hmm.
do not care about people like these people, these
Yeah,
like OSR Titan type people, these Google Plus ass like uh you know
yeah. This is why you will absolutely never ever hear me say anything bad in public about any other trans woman
mhm,
ever.
mhm,
Like there are people out there I have straight up beef with, right? People that I think are bad people, you know?
yeah,
But as long as I don't think that they are like actively dangerous, and even then, it's just like I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole, right? Because the system is already so rigged against us. Like
yeah,
people will just disregard us that much already. Like even if I don't say anything, if there's a bad trans woman out there, she is dead. Not to say that we're all angels or whatever, but like it's just really telling, right? Like it's like that all the time, and I can't deal with this. I really can't deal with this, and it's
it's
all we can do
rough.
is stick together, you know.
Yeah. Um. Sorry, I need to. Uh. Duck, I love you, but do not be talking about killing people in my chat. Uh. How do I? Fuck. How do I moderate my own chat? I rarely have to do this. Um. Uh. Sorry, folks. Mod. What? Why can't I shouldn't I just be able to delete messages? The fuck is going on? It's like they changed shit.
See, Duck, you have broken everything.
Doc, you've broken everything. You ruined it. No, you're
Duck,
fine. Um,
Duck, Duck, Duck. You're horrible. Feel bad.
I
Feel bad. Feel
think
bad.
can I delete message? Like I don't
Stabbed
want
you.
to time
Stabbed
you
you. Stabbed
out.
you. Stabbed you.
Uh, Here I'm giving you a timeout. Wait, that's really long. Wait, no, I didn't mean to do that. Hang on. Uh,
That is. That
600
is.
seconds is really long. Here.
Our justice is swift and and
I
unyielding.
can
What the
probably remove
heck?
that. Give me a second. Sorry, folks. Give me a second here. Okay, so
Oh dear.
I need to go to I need to find Duck's account. this
Duck
is
game too strong.
this is such a mess.
This is a mess. Yes, like, and
Um,
now you know, kids. Now
Wait,
you
I didn't mean
know.
to do
Do
that.
not talk about murder here.
Yeah, do not talk about killing people. Like this makes a big me a Duck username. I need to get moderators. Is what I really need to do.
It's
Why can I
okay.
not find his account? What is happening?
Did you block?
Okay.
Did you block them?
No,
Like,
I
what's
listen.
that?
They're banned for 600 seconds is 10 minutes. All right, enjoy your 10-minute timeout. You earned it.
Yeah. You know what? It's 10 minutes.
Yeah, whatever.
They'll
We'll
be
see you in
fine.
10.
What's Duck's pronouns?
He
What's
him.
Duck's pronouns? He him. Well, he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Yeah, no. All right.
Or
Uh
not. Who knows?
Yeah, hang on. Let me give brief mod.
Yeah, sure. Let the grief mod.
Why can't I make people? What the fuck is happening right now? I I feel
I
like
listen.
Twitch used to
Here's
be
the
so
thing.
much more simple.
Gremlins. It's the Gremlins.
I
You have
guess
contracted the Gremlins.
moderation,
It is in your blood. It is in your soul. They are rotting you from the inside.
community, roles manager, grief so dearly, moderator, save, boom. Okay, grief. You should be a moderator now.
Yeah, grief. Grief, fix this for us.
What the fuck?
Save us, grief. Save me, grief.
I should actually. I have a lot of VIPs that I should give out. I have what, like.
So, fun fact: if you say
Anyways.
VIP in French, which people in French will just say VIP, like with the English pronunciation of each
Yeah.
letter, and with yeah, and it also sounds like VIP, which means like an old shit. What's the that bird? A black and white bird that like collects shiny things.
A raven?
Magpie. No,
Magpie.
magpie.
Okay.
There's white in there. So yeah, old
Thank you,
magpie,
Grief.
which is what you call like a very mean old woman.
Oh, yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, it's just VAP sounds like yeah, old magpie. That's funny.
Good. Yeah, I think
It's
that's all I have to
it's a
say about
culture
the...
corner.
That's probably all I have to say
Yeah,
about the
that's a
thing.
mess, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a right proper
You
mess,
want to
isn't it?
talk about
Yeah.
some really neat little... I mean, most of the rest of today's news is kind of light. Just
Okay, cool.
some neat little things. Here. Like, we can probably slam through this and have a longer, like, just fucking shoot the shit and interview and answer questions section.
Love to slam.
So please send emails to darlingdemoncliffs@gmail.com. I do not have enough questions for the amount of time that we have, so yeah. So
Send new send dunes.
send our questions. Zine month stuff. Some cool zine month stuff that I thought people should take a look at. First of all, the
Ooh.
details of our escape by Tyler Crumrine and also comics artist Linnea Starte, I think, and multidisciplinary author Rennie Gladman. I met Tyler at PAX U, and I have some of uh, some of his books like on my shelf, and he's just like a cool guy and was very nice. And I figure folks should take a look at this. I don't know what it's going to be, but like the art looks really interesting, and like from what I've seen of Tyler's writing thus far, he made those like 3 mini zines that I have. If folks saw my like PAX U-Haul video, um, so yeah, give that a look. Actually, hang on, I haven't done that yet.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
We at the Good Sleep Collective also have something for the Zine month coming up, but it's
Oh,
gonna be announced like a little later. We're
okay.
gonna do the whole like funding through February thing. You know how it is.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it's a nice little team up between everyone at the Good Sleep Collective. I'm doing some art. I'm doing some writing. It's a it's a nice little mix.
Very cool. Um, I'm also going to point out, on Crowdfunder, From Midgard to Eternity, Death-Seeking Solo Teacher RPG by Armanda and Hippolyta. 2 really great
Ooh.
Argentinian creators, which obviously, like, if you have any awareness of what's going on in Argentina, like, you should definitely be supporting folks from there. And also, like, Hippolyta is very cool. Did Cantrip, and Armanda, I did some tutoring for with the, what do you call that, tabletop mentorship program. Although honestly, like, I think I think we're probably at a similar experience level. um, oh, hey, thank you, Anonymous, for the 5 gift subs. That's very nice of you. um, Very, very nice. I appreciate that. um, oh no, you're good, Duck. Don't worry about it. Oh, oh, that was you. Well, thank you, Doc. Thank you for the 5 gift subs, Doc. I appreciate it. Doc, you're fine. Don't worry about it. You're good. Um, but yeah, give this a look. It seems cool. It it seems to kind of have like a Norse element, and it's like a solo like journeying TTRPG. Um, and yeah, these are just some cool queer designers from Argentina who you should support.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah. Um, and that's that. And then the last thing is more Palestine stuff. Just two really quick things to show support. First of all, is this Tiltify that a bunch of RPG shows and like content things are running. Um, so give this a look. Feel free to donate. They're almost at their final goal. Um, they have some cool rewards like gift cards and custom dice, and uh, I guess you can get handmade red and black crochet leku from Star Wars if that's something that you want. Uh, a lot of really a lot of rewards. Really an embarrassment of rewards. So wow. Yeah, give that a look if any of these interest you. Uh,
Yeah,
wow.
that's a lot of
This is
stuff.
still going. That is a cool way to do, like having just a bunch of shit. That is a fun way to do this. That's cool. Okay. Well, yeah, give that a once over. And donate. And then there is currently a jam up that is going to be a bundle. TTRPGs for
Ooh.
Palestine. So the other one is supporting MSF. This is also an MSF and Palestine Children's Relief Fund. Um, the TikTok promos sold out, but the thread promos haven't sold at all. Oh yeah.
Uh,
Um, oh yeah, yeah. Duck got me a reward from that, which I'm very excited about. Yeah, give this a look. If you have games that you want to put into this, please do. I made a game to put into this, which was fun. Um, and it'll be supporting MSF and Palestine Children's Relief Fund. So, you know, it's good cause, and smile. I don't know. Uh, okay. Do you want to take a like 5-minute break before we hop into the emails?
Hell yeah, let's give people some time to type in their questions
Yes.
and give us fodder for the shooting of the shits.
Please send your questions to darlingdemoneclipse@gmail.com. I need you to
We're
do it.
starving. We're starving.
I
We
have
need
no
it. We need
emails.
you.
I have no
We need
emails.
you.
Where? Okay. We'll be right back. See you in a bit.
Bye.
Hello. We are back and ready to
And we
answer.
definitely did not commit any murders near Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yeah, and I'm definitely not sliding the body across like a high school tile floor. Rip, rip.
I'm just saying that if your favorite part of Gorillaz was Damon Albarn, you know what? Just keep watching the news. You'll know. Fine.
You'll learn.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
I have
Anyway.
questions from Goblin that I've been holding on to for like 2 weeks. So let's hit those first.
Ooh,
So
let's go. Yeah.
I have 3 questions about furries, and we're gonna answer them now. Don't worry about it,
Yeah.
goblins. We're still answering your questions from like 3 weeks ago. You're good. um,
Yeah.
so, question one: how do you think furry media could influence TTRPGs in the future? How could furry media mesh and combine with TTRPGs? And what do you think the future of these two communities overlapping could result in?
So my take on my experience of furries has been fuzzy to if you'll pardon me the pun, the awful pun
Right.
actually. Like it's a complicated thing because so the thing that cracked my egg was My Little Pony Friendship is Magic.
Yeah.
Which is like being in that community when I was like just like ending up on the internet um is like it's what has made me has forged me in a lot of ways into the person that I'm here, right? Like even the Ribston Pippin part of my name was the original like name I chose as a pony fan because it was the name of an apple, and my favorite of the main six is Applejack.
Okay. I know
And I
that's
wanted to
awesome.
have an OC that was part of the Apple family. Like that's so I'm and you know My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is for me like very much like it's within that space, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so I think that the thing right is that like furry media is like extremely vast. Like there's the porn first of all, and I think that
Right.
like TTRPGs need to get weirder with sex. I think your contributions to that aspect of the scene is extremely like should be celebrated more.
Thank you.
But I do hope it gets weirder thanks to the furries. I hope people make games that are about just like fucking blasting rope, you know. Um,
Yeah.
like I do hope that people gamify the sex they have around the table. I think it would be very funny. I think people should play in fursuits. I think like
Yes.
I hope that if the two communities overlap, they embrace the ways each other are weird in their specific ways. You know, like I
Yeah.
hope yeah, it's definitely something that I like. One thing I don't want is like all the weird IP things that seems to be like intricate, like baked into the community. Like
Right.
people like claiming that you can only they can draw certain species. I think that's weird and bad. Um, I hope they give me money. Like very importantly, I hope they toss me a lot of that furry porn money. Like that would be great.
Me too.
But yeah, I agree with Lilith. They should be kissing sloppy style. Like
They should be
it
kissing sloppy style.
there is definitely like an interest in role playing games in the writ large, in the furry community with stuff like Trials in Tainted Space and Corruption of Champions. Sorry.
Nice.
Um, it's like Tits and Cock are great games for porn purposes, and they are pretty bad RPGs if I'm honest.
Right.
Like
Yeah, they're
I'm
not
sorry,
great.
Fenoxo. Like, I'm sorry, fan. I love your work. The writing is pretty great. The user interface is what it is. The gameplay is, listen, what is funny is like it's funny when I get to like do horny stuff within the game interface, but
Right.
your game design skill, like game design is not your main skill,
Part of the
and that's
problem with
fine.
it is it's like you'll like basically any type of character that you build will eventually like you're one character, right? You're not a party, and eventually you're gonna encounter an enemy
Yeah,
that you can't beat with your setup. Like, oh, I'm gonna
yeah,
build just a tease character, and it's like this is a robot. What are you gonna fucking
yeah,
do, loser?
yeah. I mean, Cock 2 does give you a party, which is
Mhm.
good. Um, and like it works, so that's nice. But you know, it's still not a like it is a better CRPG, but it's not a good one. And I
Yeah,
hope that like if anything comes from this marriage, this marriage,
marriage.
it is that I hope that like I hope furries make us weirder, and I hope we teach them some fucking game design because oh god, the
Yeah, that's
scene
real.
fucking needs it. Like
Duck.
whenever I see a game that's advertised for furries, like often the gameplay is just dog shit.
Yeah. Duck mentions
There's
advertising
exceptions.
your TTRPGs on Fur Affinity, which I think is a great idea.
I would have to go back to Fur Affinity and maybe I should. I think Crust and Raiders could please some furries, but it's not horny enough.
I can see it.
It is decently horny. I need to make more furry art for it.
Yeah, I pretty
I
much
need to
agree with.
make
Oh, sorry.
sorry, no, go ahead.
I pretty much agree with Wendy's answer. I do have a joke answer. Um,
Go ahead.
wait, hang on. Let me.
Deploy humor.
I'm deploying it. Yeah, that's my.
Ah, God damn it!
I also love that I
You're a
can just like.
dumbass. Oh God.
Wait, I can make the transition time even shorter. What if I like? What I
I'm
also need to do
always
is I need to
saying
get like
this.
the vine like brrrr sound when this
Boom.
shows up.
Vine boom. Vine
Wait,
boom.
that's
Hang
actually
on.
pretty
Hang
good.
on. Hang on a second. Hang on a fucking second. Do people hear it if I do this?
Yes.
Nice. There we go.
Good.
Wait, that means I can. That means I can flick the didgeridoos up on your stream. Should I do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I will not. It is
Okay.
15 seconds of didgeridoos. I will not. I will not do that.
Yeah, I'm just
I
flashbang
will.
the chat.
Yeah, no, no, no. I will not. I will, however, fucking get that plumber. There we
Awesome.
go.
Good. Um,
Got that plumber.
Plumber got. Yeah.
Plumber got plumber down.
I pretty much agree with Wendy. I hope that it makes us hornier, and I hope it makes them hornier too. Oh, actually, I hope it makes them more like good at stuff. Um,
Yeah,
Another furry question.
yeah,
Uh,
yes.
what do you think is the best way to include furry characters in TTRPGs? I've seen many advocate for species to have extreme effects on mechanics, while others would prefer for personas to have little, if any, gameplay effects. That's a
I
really,
mean,
yeah,
here's the thing, right? Like, what do you get? I think if you're just going to go the aesthetics route, like, like we're all playing like you can just be weird. That's always an option, and I think that's something that more people need to lean into in games. Like, be weird. It's a
yeah,
thing that I really want to do in Rust and Raiders, where I want like where mutations, like the tables for mutations are here to like make you be a furry.
right.
In many places, like you will get a snout, you will get floppy ears, you will be a weird fucked up furry creature, and that's good, right? And that's here to like kind of showcase that humanity has changed, and that you still don't get much control over what your body is, but also like people are a fucking smorgasbord of bodies and appearances. Um, because I want the idea that because one of the themes at the center of like Rust and Raiders is that everything is weird all the time and everyone should be like individuality is a big thing, right? Which is why like a lot of like the existential threats in the setting are very clean and very like normal looking in comparison.
I forgot my
So
birds.
there's that.
There we go.
So there's that. I do not like much species in general. I do not like them. I like races and stuff. That's something we don't like here. We do not like when bioessentialism is real.
Yeah.
Um, and like fantasy, like sometimes it like you can do interesting stuff with it. I think that recently I've been reading Dungeon Meshi, which really gets deep into the weeds with it in
Yeah.
ways that are actually like really interesting, right? But you're still going off the assumption that race science is real, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And like I think the problem with like making a specific race, right, that having like a specific kind of gameplay niche, right? Because for a race to matter, right, it has to have like actual impacts on the game that do matter, right? It should be a significant part of your character building if it's going to be a part of the gameplay at all. And the risk you're running into is that maybe I want to be a cat furry, but I do not want to be sneaky. I want to be something else. Maybe my cat furry is, I don't know, like Incineroar based and is just like this buff wrestling cat, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I want. And if that's what I want, I should be able to make it. And if the game actively discourages me from that, that's too bad, right?
Right.
Um, because one thing that furries are all about is feeling special. You want to feel special. You want your special fuck bucket to be a comrade, but a cool comrade that takes in that nice baby batter in an interesting way. Um, and I just don't think that you can have that like in a way that's interesting gameplay wise, um, with a heartbreaker, right? Why are you getting so small? Why are you going away? Are you
I'm,
distancing
I'm not.
yourself from
I'm
my
distancing myself
from?
from the things that you're saying. Let me get normal again.
Yeah, you're distancing yourself from what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I have no, but like it's just but like realistically, right?
Yeah.
People who get into TTRPGs still get massively drawn in by Dungeons and Dragons. So I think that like realistically, what is going to happen, right, is that there's just going to be more tabaxi, and then the gnolls are gonna get a lift, a bit of a facelift to become more acceptable and slightly less racist, maybe, but still be the same shit, right?
Yeah.
So I think that like at least on the short term, that's what we can expect.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I mean, something that I um I don't think this is just the thing that I'm gonna do with like all of my games, but like with Sapphic World with the kinds, I tried to like play with the idea of like transformation. And
Yeah,
I, I it's interesting because like I've heard this critique of Sapphic World that like the kinds um are still essentialist because they're still like complete like packs of physical traits that you're transforming into. Um, I think it's an interesting one, and like there's also like requirements for becoming those things. Like you have to do things to do that. Um, this is also a critique I've like absorbed into the game. That is like a thing that a character believes. So, that's just kind of the way like. So in terms of like furry stuff though, like I think, um, I am of the opinion that like I think the like physical form part of your character, the mystical form part of your character should do interesting stuff and should be
yeah,
about more than birth. Or like
true,
ideally it
true.
will be. Um, that's the sort of stuff that I'm interested in, at least. Like that those are the sorts of games that draw my attention. Um, unless the birth is really interesting, unless like the racial element of it is like actually, unless it's a cultural like thing. It's more complex than that, but you know.
I mean, yeah, like I mean, here's the thing. Like, it's not that I wanna. You're right, because like the thing I said kind of lacks that nuance of I. It's not that I don't think that your body should have an impact on the the reality of the way you play a character, right? Like, it's why Rust and Raiders is all about mutants, and like the body has a clear, like, your body is like a central mechanical part of that game, right? And
Yeah.
like the mutations you get and the way your body gets changed by the grasping lurker, this strange horror slash god lurking under the clouds, um, is like that's a big part of it. But yeah, I definitely agree with you on that count. I
Yeah.
there is there is something so raw and powerful, interesting about the body of a character. There's not necessarily like always really exploited that well. And I think it's also something you wanna I would want to explore more in games. Especially like with regards to, my disability as someone with a brain that works in weird ways. And who gets tired very easily. Like, it's it's why I made Dol.Bud the way I did, right? Like the with everything that really actually like is like the things that matters the most about your character narratively and in terms of gameplay is your body,
Yeah.
like your cyberware, the weird ways that your legs and eyes and heart and hands work.
Yeah. No, that is very true. Like bodies are very interesting. Uh,
I
from like a
think
game
I think
design
we should let
perspective.
them hit the floor.
I agree. Uh, last question from the furry collection is: do you have any furry games to recommend, or should I just take an existing game and just have people play as furry animals or funny animals? I recommend Duck and Ewan's To Change. It has a lot of like furry transformation stuff. That's fun.
Do I have any TTRPG for free
Honestly,
TTRPGs?
Pathfinder like
I
has
mean,
so
yeah,
many
Pathfinder.
furry options.
Yeah, Pathfinder has good stuff, and again, like Pathfinder, D&D on purpose. Like, if you want a good crunchy war game, that's about having adventures and dungeoning them dragons. Pathfinder is right there for you.
Yeah,
You have fucking kitsunes, you got cat people, you got the works,
got frogs.
You got frogs. Love to see some frogs.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, guess. I'm thinking. I think I'm missing one.
Hmm.
Oh, for an interesting stuff, there is some furry elements to Yaziba's bed and breakfast, and I
Oh
think
yeah.
Jay will break a chair on my back for saying this. But like, it is not a furry game. It does have some furries in it, and they're interesting.
Yeah, no, it's real.
Look them up.
Look up Eusebius Bed and
Parrish, my
Breakfast.
boy, my
It's got
boy
a
Parrish.
great one room multiverse thing for it. It's really good.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh, you could play a furry in Blades in the Dark.
you
That's
could,
funny.
if you wanted to.
Uh, if you actually no, there is a real answer. There is wait, no, the Panyars in Band of Blades are not really furries. They're more like they have animal traits, but like they're not furries. A furry person would like not get off on them, so like maybe they would, but not like as a furry thing. So no.
Yeah, that makes sense. Uh, next question is from Bisus. Um, I don't actually understand what this means. You might need to explain it to me one day. Um,
Yeah.
would you like to write for books like Un livre dont vos dont vous etes les héros?
The Weird Hero. Yeah, les livres dont vous êtes le héros. or as you would translate it, books that you are of which you are the hero,
Oh.
are books that are. I think this exists in
Oh,
English
like
though. It's like
CYOAs? Or
what's that?
Steve Jackson's Sorcery.
Oh yeah, Steve Jackson does have books like where you have like a sort of adventure pass, and like the books presents you with options. If you want to do this, go to page X, and if you want to
Mhm.
do this, go to page Y. But if you have this thing, go to page Z. You know?
Yeah, I would love to write something like that. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I see Fleur in the chat getting flustered because she choose
It's
your
okay.
own adventure book. That's the thing.
If anyone should be
Uh,
embarrassed, it's me, because I did not know how to pronounce that.
I mean, you're not French. I haven't whipped it into you yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, choose your own adventure books, and yeah, it's it's. I don't know that I would like that actually.
Hmm.
I don't. It's not a medium I really enjoyed as a kid. It's not something. Yeah, no, it's. I don't think. I don't think so. It's not. It's not my thing. I'm much more because like the thing with choose your own adventure books, right? Is that essentially they're just a like to me the way I read them is kind of the way I read visual novels, which is there is a true ending, and then there's just the interesting things that happen like here and there on the side that could have happened, and which kind of like flesh out how the universe works, right?
Yeah.
And while I kind of enjoy this, it does not interest me in the way that TTRPGs do because I'm interested in like actual game mechanics, you know? And I need that to survive, much like a vampire needs blood. Like,
Right.
and in a choose your adventure book, eventually you're just gonna read the whole book, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's fun, but that's not what I'm like. I don't want to write stories. Is the thing.
I
I
would
want
have
to
to
write.
get real
Yeah,
autistic with it, in the way that like sorcery is autistic, where it's like, you know,
yeah,
you get an item in book one, and then in book five, it's like, hey, if you have the hammer of Gadalox, you can use it to defeat this goblin.
yeah, yeah. You know what I mean.
Yeah,
You know how it is.
you know how it is.
And yeah, I don't think I have the proper autism for this.
Fair. Um, we have two questions from Lilith Lilac Leviathan, so I'll read the first one. Um,
Ooh.
what is your favorite core resolution mechanic in TTRPG, i.e., rolling dice, etc.?
Hmm. I mean, I am bad at favorites. I think Lilith is kind of a dick for asking this because she has the same kind of autism that I do, and I think if I asked her that, she would also be like, "Whatever is the last thing I played," or something like that. Because like making us choose a favorite thing is awful. Yeah, I see you fucking you chuckle fuck here. Anyway, but I would say that like I can't like pin down one. Like there's a bunch of mechanics that I really like, but like there's so many things that go into a good core resolution mechanic, right? I personally tend to prefer games where you roll a bunch of dice. Like I really like the feeling of rolling just a whole bunch of dice. So stuff like the Shadowrun stuff where like it's a nice way to integrate like degrees of success and have them like scale with the way that your character evolves. I think that's like interesting. uh i I also enjoy the d20 roll under thing that like mouse return and into the odd kind of solidified, and that's why it's in it's in Rust and Raiders. I like it because the way it is designed is it is stacked against you. Like
Right.
at least at the start of the game, it is stacked against you, and the only way you make it work is by thinking with your items, with your stuff, with what you have on hand, and it teaches you that if you are relying on luck, you are fucked. You
You're
are
out.
pitch made. Yeah, you should not. Like, if you are
Yeah.
making a saving throw, you are asking the dice to literally save your ass, and it's going to, like, it is extremely likely to blow up in your face. And I think it's simple, it is punitive, and it keeps the people, like the players, thinking about how they can creatively use their tools, so that their tools are the things taking the brunt of the problems and not themselves. You know?
Right. Yeah.
I think that's what I'm thinking about.
I
Oh,
like.
and yeah, also, also, if you are using a D100 and you are only playing with increments of tens or fives, you should get killed with hammers.
Fair. Well, Lilith, we're coming for you, I guess.
Yeah.
uh, so I think one of my favorite TTRPGs is Sox BX's God Game, which is a card game that it's not a TTRPG, but listen,
No.
it's
I'm going to let you cook. Go
it
ahead.
is though, like because it's a game with like 8,000 cards, so the only thing
Right?
that you can do is play an exaggerated version of yourself who understands what they're doing. Um,
I get that.
essentially, like that is the role that you play in God Game is a person who understands what they're doing with the cards they've been given. Um,
That's
and
funny.
I I guess my answer is I think that cards are a really like cards with text on them as a like
Hmm.
role playing thing is a thing that I'm really
Yeah.
excited to explore. I'm gonna explore it in two games that I'm working on. Thinly Veiled, my like pervert superhero game, and uh, It Can Only Be Done, the like OSR ish card game that I'm working on with Grief. And
Interesting.
I think it's a cool space that I'd like to see explored. I don't know if it's my favorite, but I think there's a lot of space to play with that. It's
I do like a good card in a TTRPG. I've been playing. I've been like exploring possibilities of like card based games and stuff. Especially in like the for a while, like one of my back burner projects is called Nebulous: The Ballad of Stetson 3000, which is a card based skirmish game about space cowboy salvages and boarding wrecks. Um, and oh yeah, one of my favorite resolution mechanics, of course, is the Forged in the Dark core mechanic
yeah.
of stakes of shit. Uh, what's the words? What are the
Uh,
words?
like risky, like
Yeah, position and
effect,
effect.
and yeah, position.
Position and effect. Like I think that's also like a very interesting. It takes a while to like grab. People kind of have trouble with it, but I think it's really really interesting and creates loads of like very interesting stuff. It really works for what it is going for.
Yeah. Um, I also really like. I honestly like. I mean, this should be obvious to folks, but I really like PPTA. I really like the 2d6.
Yeah,
Because it has like, it has standards. It has like a standard like series of outcomes, which means you can really fuck with it. Like, I think an example
yeah,
in like Sapphic World is the fact that like I've basically taken the normal total of stats for like a usual PBTA and I've reduced it by like about 1 to 2. Um,
yeah,
and that's because there's item bonuses. So it's like kind of like what Wendy was talking about with the D20 roll under. It encourages you to like use your stuff because you're not going to roll like as well as you would in
yeah,
a normal PBTA unless you're using your
yeah.
stuff.
But like here's the problem that I have with PBTA is that like it is a very good idea that the fact that like basically most of the time what you will get is an average result,
Mm-hmm.
which is the point of the game, right? Like the point of the game is that most of the time you're just going to kind of scrape by and you're interested like in what the limitations of your characters are rather than like their abilities, right? Like you are playing not to overcome adversity, but to find out what the fuck is up with this weird little gremlin you've made
Right.
and like put them in situations, right? And like it's a thing when I talk with people who like pretty much have only played D&D and only think about games through the D&D lens, they tend to like misunderstand fundamentally how that mechanic is supposed to work. Because I don't think it's great at making itself understandable to the
Yeah.
layman.
Makes
Because
sense.
the point is not the point of of PBTAs is not that you're supposed to overcome adversity. Like you are going to experience it, and that's
Yeah.
what you want to do. You are going to move through the adversity and see what happens. And I think that's good design, but it's also like design in a way that like is so unfamiliar to traditional gamers that like it takes a while for people to really get the hang of it if they are too, trad game pilled.
You're trying to get wrapped up in things, and not everybody
Yeah.
who plays games wants to get wrapped up in things.
Yeah, and I will say like it's something I have trouble myself, right? Because I've mentioned this, but like I started with like Pathfinder and stuff like that. My very first role playing game was Shadowrun, and like the problem is that in these situations, in these games where you play to overcome, if you are in a group who has no patience, they will make you feel like utter shit if you're not pulling your weight, you know.
Yeah.
and as a result, like it becomes really hard to unlearn the idea that like you are dead weight at the table, that you can be dead weight at the table. You can't. Like if you feel like this, if someone out there in the chat today or in the VOD feels like they are a drag on their tabletop group because they don't perform enough, stop. Please
Right.
stop. I beg of you. You are not here to work. You're here to
Here
play,
to play.
and you can't fail at playing. The only way you fail at playing is by not engaging with the game and refusing to have fun.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
Real.
yeah, and I think like yeah, it's what PBTA really does. Interestingly, it makes you engage with the premises of the universe it stars in. You know.
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna send you this question first, Wendy, and you can let me know if you want to answer it. Because it might not be something that you want to talk about. Up to you.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for the. Yeah. No problem.
Okay. So the question
Thank you
is,
for asking.
yeah. I know Wendy has experience in the LARP scene over there. How has that affected your design?
So that's a great question.
In France, to be clear.
Yeah. I mean, I've had experience with LARP in one other country once, which is Britain, and I can't say that like I have. But yeah, I've thought about TTRPGs and LARPs very long. Like um it's complicated for me because like I've kind of been canceled out of the scene for reasons I will not get into, but mostly because, I'm being stalked by the bad ex. So that's a thing I want to get out there first. Um, but I have, like, it definitely does, like, it definitely has made me think about stuff, basically because I got to face a lot of player frustrations in like directly live on air. Like I saw a lot of people getting frustrated with like classic role playing game stuff, like dying, you know,
Yeah.
made worse by the LARPing format. Because like I played a lot of like what some people would call buffer like LARPing, like fast LARPing, where you charge at each other dressed as orcs and elves and hit each other with foam weapons. And see, when you die in a TTRPG, when you fail in a TTRPG, you can like kind of chat it over with your friends and be fine because you're still at the table. Um, when you fail in these LARPs, you kind of get booted out of the game for a while, and like it's really hard because like you go through much more prep in a LARP than for TTRPG, right? Like when you die in a TTRPG, it's depressing. It can be, but also you haven't like spent hundreds of bucks on a costume for nothing, you know?
Yeah.
And it's made me think about a lot of things, and especially about like living spaces of role-playing games, especially since like in these bigger scenes, in the bigger environments, um, power is a thing that exists. You get social power, you get social presence, you get the ability to, like some players will be able to influence the game and some players will not. It is something that breeds discontent and toxicity to a point that is extremely hard to manage, because and that's where like death comes back into it,
Yeah.
like because if you do not die, like if your character, like if there is any amount of character growth, right, if you have XP, you are going to walk up to someone and then discover that because they have been here longer than you, when they hit you with their sword, you lose all of your HP right away, and then you are dead.
Right.
Like, and then like your investment is entirely gone. Like you got fucking gut is the thing. And that is extremely frustrating because the people who are going to accumulate the most power are likely to be cheaters, likely to be friends with the organizers, with the runners. They are likely, like, it is not always the case. Like, it's not because someone is good at LARP that they are necessarily an asshole, but being an asshole helps. Like, and and then you just like start creating very unhealthy like power dynamics and like pyramids that get very hard to like extricate, you know?
Yeah.
Um and that's made me like think a lot about it has not showed up in my design yet, but it's definitely something I think about a lot about, especially when it comes to living community games, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and that's why like the living community games that I oversee are always like fully cooperative and have like no PvP. It's not that you can't have a good living community game with PvP. It's just that like, you know, stuff happens. Like I know that like when you had Emily on there, she talked about one such problem within the lens of, you know, like safety mechanics and stuff. But like living community games, like when PvP happens on them, it can like be a lot of drama very quick in a way that you just don't get when it's PvP. Like between four people at a table who know each other and like are just like engaging in friendly competition, you know?
Yeah. No, that definitely makes sense. I have very little
One
LARP
way I've
experience,
been
but yeah. Go. Sorry.
uh, one way I've been thinking about it is the match sequence, right?
Hmm.
Like the idea of like doing matches. Because if you feel like you can have a failure and it's just like something that like it's just one less point, you know?
Yeah.
Uh that definitely helps take the edge off losing and failing in the LARP. If you know that like like whether or not you win or you lose is only decided at the end of the LARP, that takes off a lot of the edge. That takes a lot of the edge off, I think.
Yeah. It
Uh,
seems like dying would definitely be intense in a LARP. Um,
it is. It is. I've cried.
yeah.
I have cried in a way that I haven't for TTRPG characters. You know.
Yeah. Makes sense. Um,
Uh, yeah.
yeah. Uh, we got one more question. Um, This person did not put their name on this, so I'll just ask it. um, Food is an often forgotten pillar of TTRPGs, and Sapphic World does a great job of its food descriptions as part of the world building for players. My question is this. Could a TTRPG cookbook ever be successful? Well, there was a stretch goal for Wanderhome. Far from home, but on the way, from Jian Shim. So, yeah. Like, financially, yeah, technically.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that definitely is a thing that could happen. I think it is interesting to. I don't know if it's a pillar though. Like, I think it's something that like depends kind of on your on your game, right? Like, it's something that it's definitely something I thought about in Rust and Raiders, because like there's a question of, you're walking around, uh, you're alone in the woods and your phone is dead. Out of the corner of your eye, you spot him, Shia LaBeouf, and he's an actual cannibal, because cannibalism is a big thing
Right.
in Rust and Raiders. And like all of these, like all of the foods that you can have in Rust and Raiders are, an exercise on, are you sure you should eat that? For either health reason or ethics reasons, and pretty much always like ethics. Sorry, for health reasons and ethics reasons, like all together. That's like a big question that I've been wondering about, right?
Yeah.
Like, what can you eat? What should you eat? How should you eat? I think is something that's actually kind of overlooked in game. Like let's say like you will get maybe like you will get something like in the CC like in the Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous CRPG, where like your meal might give you like a bonus for the day, but it's not like a part of like the story. No one like each characters have their favorite meal and stuff, but that's just like kind of like plus ones and twos.
Yeah. I really like. Well, I think part of it for me is like, uh, this gets into the woods shit, like, uh, that I mentioned in my blog on the Treasures, Realms, and Guides thing. Um, if you if you are running an adventure game, and I go to the tavern, and you're like, yeah, they have ale, bread, and mutton. I'm gonna reach over the table, and I'm gonna punch you in the fucking jaw.
Yeah.
Like, I want something. Here's my criteria. Either it should be um, it should be compelling and unique, or it should be historically accurate. So if you say, yeah, they give you a wine sop, I'll be like, hell yeah, I'm destroying this wine sop. If you tell me that they give me like, you know, uh, fried crystalline leeks from the plains covered in like a sauce made from the meat of like gorgon guts, I will be like, hell yeah, I'm destroying that. But if you tell me that I got bread, mutton, and ale, I'm killing you.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah, and I think that games, I think it is a cool thing to do for a game to facilitate this, even just via a D66 table. I think that there's a lot of space to be like, uh, here are some cool food options for you as a GM to put into the game, because otherwise
You're right.
your GMs are probably going to give the most boring possible answers. At least that's my experience, especially if you're writing a fantasy game.
You're so right. I'm gonna add that to Rust and Raiders. Actually,
Yes.
there's so many varieties of roasted. Like, the thing is, people in Rust and Raiders, like mostly eat insects, like big mutated insects, and like the people who like you can eat like veggies and stuff, but like the thing is, like most vegetations in Rust and Raiders is mutated and wants to kill you.
Mhm.
If you eat your greens, you are seen as a stone cold badass. Is the thing.
Yeah.
Like, people make bread, like, of course, because wet like is fairly tame, but like you don't let kids close to the wet. People throw corpses in wet fields to make them disappear. Like,
Right.
wheat, sorry, wheat, not wet, wheat.
You're doing a food on
My
the emblem
French is showing.
page for IODM. Oh yeah, sorry. I just assumed you meant wet as in like, you know, like plants are wet.
No, Wheat.
Yeah,
Wheat is fairly tame. Wheat is fairly tame. People use it to make flour, bake bread, etc., etc. But also, it will kill you.
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't think every game needs, that sort of stuff. But I think it can. I think it's to use food terms, it's an extra bit of spice on the dish that is your TTRPG, and I will enjoy it more.
Asks if I have played Quid, and no, still no. The answer is still no, Lilith.
Caves of Cod kicks ass in terms of food. Like it's maybe one of the best RPGs when it comes to food, because it's just like every
Dang.
every town that you go to has like a specific meal that they make, but also um, like you can like cook together stuff, and then like you can like make named recipes and stuff. You can also just like cook a quick meal, and your character will like take like a sprig of like nuclear residue and like uh, a dash of a dash of like chitinous cat guts. Like they'll just take like random shit from around them. Um, good game.
That does sound great. I do have to play Quid. It's just that, money. People,
Yeah,
hey, y'all in chat, buy my games now so I can play
buy
Quid.
Wendy's games right now. Hang on, let me.
Even better, send me money. Just send me money on PayPal. Thank me for existing and providing you with my wisdom.
That's very true.
Commission me to do art.
Get in there, you fuckers.
Yeah, give me money. I am broke as shit.
Give Wendy so much money, please. Thank you. Um, that's all the
Thank
questions that
you.
I have. That's all of them.
That's all of them. That's all of the question.
And we're
Huh.
we're this is probably a good time to wrap up. We're like 9 minutes to 7.
Which is, I don't know, how long was this supposed to go?
Usually 2 hours. I actually I thought I would have something. I assume we were starting at 7 at first, and then we changed it. So I assumed that I would have something immediately after this. But voice getting tired. Definitely want to rest it up before what I have to do later. So
Yeah.
will not have to do. I'm gonna play Sapphire
Well
World.
then.
What a blast. But yeah, let's.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to tell people about? Tell of before we wrap up?
Yeah, of course. Well, first of all, you should follow me on all the socials. They are listed on my my itch.io. You should follow me on there. I get all my infos, my Tumblr, my Twitter. You should also give a shout to my friends at the Good Sleep Collective.
Ah, yes.
We are various European-based indie queers and not some non-queers as well for diversity.
Diversity hires.
Diversity hires who do a bunch of stuff, and our motto is we made it like we're Europe-based, but purely for time zones purposes, so that like we hang out in a creative way without fucking each other's sleep schedule, which is very important, which is why we're the Good Sleep Collective.
Awesome.
Because, yeah.
That's beautiful.
They're also on the socials, on Twitters, on Blue Sky. Look up the Good Sleep Collective. What else? What else? Definitely. Yeah, no. Money now.
Money now. I'm seeing if
Gimme.
there's anyone who I could raid who would understand what I'm talking about. or maybe I just raid up. Maybe I raid up here. Is Dollop Days still going?
What?
Dollop Days is just starting. Yeah, I'm gonna raid Dollop Days, who is in RAR XD, which is a stream group that my friend Melody is in. Go say hi.
Nice.
And yeah, I'll see you all on Wednesday. Wednesday, I'm gonna play a bunch of VODs. I'm gonna play 2 VODs, Six's Dovecote and Lilith's Biotrophication before a Biotrophication stream with Jacqueline. So there will be stuff basically all day that a lot of you probably haven't seen. So
Aren't
the latter
you
end of
little
which you will
sluts
definitely,
lucky?
yeah, the latter of which you've definitely not seen. But yeah, um,
Ooh.
take care, everyone.
Yeah,
Bye.
be nice. Behave. Behive.
Remember,
Bye!
if you don't like what you see, you can change it. It's up to you, really. Goodbye, good luck, and have fun!